We have to talk to him this morning.
Or call back.
Yeah. Oh, you said what?
Or send a call back to MPP.
Oh, okay.
See, yes, so be answer, amnesty to Obeko, Zulubeko.
Good morning.
Good morning, Senator.
I hope you're well.
By His grace, you are doing well.
Did you hear my colleague? I understand you are going back to the New Patriotic Party.
Catcher is the diabolics in Ujai. Ujai, Metoku Kamano.
Oh, so no, but is that to suggest that you have no intentions of going back to the New Patriotic Party under any condition?
So now let me greet your listeners and say that the call by Kennedy Japan wasn't a genuine one, and it's not a genuine one. And we take it with a pinch of salt and believe that they must begin to respect the personality of Mr. Lanchamante, his credibility, and his intellect. I mean, the way and manner Kennedy Japan went about it is as though Mr. Lanchamante has approached him and confided in him to say that he wants to return to the new Patriotic Party, which is never the case. You remember on the 25th of September 2023, when the movement was being launched, Mr. Lanchamante was clear in his mind that he has left the NPP. He announced it boldly to the world. So why use him? I mean, he did it during their internal primaries to woo some supporters of Alan who are still with the NPP to vote for him. When in fact, Kennedy Japan has never wished Mr. Chamante well. Remember, along the line, Antonio Martins was interviewed. And in that interview, he was clear that right from day one, Kennedy Japan was supporting Baumia. The decision by Kennedy Japan to contest election 2020, 2024 NPP primaries was a strategy of the whole. That they realized that Baumia couldn't compete with Mr. Lanchamate in terms of the popular votes, in terms of the grassroots votes. So they needed a candidate who could come and disturb this whole arrangement. And who could have done that job very well? Kennedy Japan. So he was only working to, as it were, take away the grassroots influence of Mr. Lanchamate to pave the way for Baumia to go as a flag bearer of the NPP. When he entered the fray, he realized that, hey, I could also be the flag bearer. And that was how come he said he was going to contest. You know, and now he would, after getting allowed out, the next thing was for him to have withdrawn from the race, for Baumia to have gone as an unopposed candidate. So what is he talking about? That you go on your platform and go and invite Mr. Lanchamante, go and call for amnesty for Mr. Lanchamante. Between Kennedy Japan and Alan Chamate, who was the founding member of this party, for one to invite the other. So disregard the call. It is not a genuine call. It is a way of trying to prep his base within the party, using the vulnerabilities of those members that still have soft spots for Alan Chamate, so that they can join his campaign and make it relevant.
Oh, so you're saying his call is self-serving. It is not about Alan Chamante or anybody else's interest. It's about him.
Sarah, if I want to invite you to my program, do I first discuss it with you, the idea of inviting you, or Sarah, you'll be sitting in your home, and all that you hear from me will be on air that I'm inviting Sarah. Would it show respect to you? There is nothing genuine about it. It's a self-serving strategy that is deploying. And some of us will not sit down for Mr. Lanchamate to be denigrated in such manner. He has suffered one too many with this kind of unserious politics coming from people that knows nothing about politics.
I see. Very interesting. But he seems to be saying that he was part of an agenda to hound out Alan Chemantin from the MPP race in 2024?
Absolutely. And this was confirmed by Afenyo Marcus, which he has not denied. When Afenyo was asked, why did he not support Kennedy Japan? He said, but Kennedy Japan and him were strong supporters of Baumia. Now, what it means, therefore, is that Kennedy Japan was part of the diabolical plans hatched by Kukwado together with his henchmen to make sure that Baumia became the flag bearer of the MPP. So how do you expect me to be trusted as a candidate? I would never. Unless you are a day-old person on the street.
You will never trust Kennedy Japan?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, because there are those who have commended him as what is his call as reconciliatory. It should be applauded, it should be commended.
I mean, those that are doing that don't know the background to him. They have no information. So I don't begrudge them. I mean, with the nature of politics, who would begrudge someone or who would speak against someone calling for unity? But you can only critique such a person when you have the background, when you know and you were part of the whole system and saw what really happened to Mr. Lanjamante. You will not be entertaining such comments. In any case, is he saying that Mr. Lanjamante, he has the permission of Mr. Lanjamante to call for his comeback?
Oh, so you're suggesting that if his call was genuine, first thing he should have done was to speak to Mr. Lanjamante?
Absolutely. And if he has spoken to Mr. Lanjamante, what Mr. Lanjamante would have done would have been to convey a meeting of his supporters. Mind you, it is not automatic that if you say Mr. Lanjamante should come back and he goes back, all the supporters are going. No, we are not that. It has to be put into proper scrutiny, analysis, to ascertain the veracity of their claim, whether or not it's genuine. You cannot just say that Mr. Lanjamante has gone back, and by virtue of he going back, all supporters are going back. It doesn't work like that. And that is why I'm saying that the call is so genuine. He's only putting Mr. Lanjamante on the spot. So that tomorrow, if he does not go back, they'll say, oh, he's so wicked, he doesn't win the NPP well, and that is not good. You cannot be doing that to such a person.
I see. Two things. First of all, why did you think the MPP lost?
You see, I was never in Commonwealth Hall. But one thing that it says that I agree with is that truth stands. Truth will always defeat lies. In the interim, you can get away with your lies. But in the medium to long term, the truth will surely stand. If you take our GTP, which I made reference to over and over, at least with you on several platforms, you go to page 83 of our GTP, and we talk about arrogance of power. And mind you, the GTP was launched as far back as June 2024. Then why do you think we put in the GTP the issue of arrogance of power? We were in the party and we had identified that the way a manner, not just government appointees, but even party executives from constituency to national, the way they were throwing their weight about, the way they did not respect the Ghanaians, the way they were doing anything anyhow, it was going to be difficult for the government to survive and for the party to survive. And it was for that reason that we safely captured it as one of the programs and policies when we got the opportunity to implement to make sure that our appointees never lauded the power that they have been given by the very people on them. So arrogance of power was one. I mean, I was very surprised by Umia himself was the one that was raising this issue. You had your wife and your brother-in-law take an excavator together with the military to go and pull down cluster of houses that have been put up by a fellow NPP member, Mr. Otibosu. If this is not arrogance of power, what is arrogance of family, you are going to the ballot to vote for your husband, who would become president eventually. If as a vice president, this was how you were using your power to destroy people's cooperatives. Can you imagine what you'll be doing with the power when that vice president metamorphosed into president? So, arrogance of power was number one. Number two, the economic management. And I was very surprised he was making reference to e-levy, domestic debt exchange program, and so on and so forth. Senator, if you have the IMF staff level agreement before you, go to the executive summary. The IMF makes it clear that Ghana's delegation, those that led Ghana's negotiation during the staff level agreement, was the vice president. It was the IMF that proposed. It was not. It wasn't the IMF. It was the government of Ghana that made policy proposals to the IMF that this was how you intended to stabilize the economy. And in there, they front-loaded a lot of tax proposals. And also, how they intended to reduce the tax the debt burden by giving haircuts. And all these negotiations or proposals were led by Dr. Baumia. So how could you have said that he didn't have any clue about it? In any case, in 2016-2015, at Santa Maria, what did President Akufo-Addo say? Then candidate Akufo-Addo. He said he was bringing Dr. Mahmoud Baumia because Akufo-Addo didn't have much knowledge about economics, and that Baumia was the one that was going to stabilize the economy. The city that had turned into the famous key language, Hata, 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 he was going to deal with it. So how can he separate himself? In an economy that you took over from an inflation of 50.4, you ended it at 23.8. So how were you expected to win? And if some of these things did not go well, it is the vice president who was mandated to manage the economy who couldn't do it that must take the blame. The internal arrangement, I have said, they are trying very hard to avoid the issue of Alantemate. And that's why they are using a backdoor through Canada's support to coming out with unity. Your internal arrangement, you just kill the whole process to favor one person. Tell us, during those days, we will go to a region, and when we get to a region, can you imagine a founding member of the MPP, Alantemate, and regional executives who boldly tell him that they are unable to meet him? All the regions, we went on campaign tours without regional executives, without constituency executives. So you even wondered whether the people that we were meeting were the actual delegates. We suffered all this. Internal primaries. We had Zach in Northeast, Baumia's hometown, beat him to form. And all of you saw it. So how were you expected to win such an election? So the factors had been known all this while. But because nobody wants to man up and own up to the problems, they are just pussyfooting, going around it, and then just pushing the blame to former President Akufo-Addo, who himself has accepted that they should heap all the blames on him.
Who do you think should be taking the blame, really?
I mean, beyond Akufo-Addo, Baumia must be, in fact, in election 2024, the first person that has to blame should be Mahmoud Baumia.
Him?
He must take all the blame. He must not run away. Because everything Akufo-Addo did, whether bad or good, was done to favor his popularity. Everything. So how can I go and blame Akufo-Addo? How can I?
So you're saying the man who was outlining those reasons those reasons all apply to him. He's the embodiment of the failure of the MPP in 2024.
He's the problem of the day. He's the problem of the day. Look, he commissioned, let me put it this way. He called the Ashanti Regional Executive to go and do a research. That research was only politically motivated. That they were to write a report that would rather exonerate him and put the blame on Canada, Japan, and anybody that intends to contest him. So guess what? On the platform, did you hear him say that utterances of some of the aspirants during the internal primaries was the reason why they lost? That was in reference to Canada, Japan, and he took it out of the Ashanti region report. Believe you me, Professor Michael K's committee never went to Ashanti region to do any other report apart from that report that leaked. So even on the campaign platform, confusion is there. And when he said that, did you see the facial expression of Canada, Japan? So clearly, this is a party that has lost its way. This is a party that does not know where to start from. And this is a party that is underestimating why they suffered the heaviest defeat of their life.
Be that as it may, when it comes down to the wire, everything on the line, will Solomon Owusu rejoin the New Patriotic Party?
If you say join the New Patriotic Party, then you are assuming that what is available now is the New Patriotic Party. What you have now is Nana People's Party.
Nana People's Party?
Yes. It has no semblance of the New Patriotic Party that my father, Sakodia Owusu, pushed me through, that I came to follow. There is nothing about this NPP that is semblance of what I sign on. So for me to join the original New Patriotic Party, it means you have to revert back the original ideals, opinions, views, and principles. That is the only condition.
What are those ideals and principles?
We believed in free expression of opinions. We didn't believe in thuggery, mafiaism. We believed in free enterprise. Can you imagine a New Patriotic Party forming government and going after Ghanaian businesses? Can you imagine a New Patriotic Party that, as a matter of fact, put it in their manifesto that they would always ensure fair freedom? Fair freedom. Is that a New Patriotic Party that you are witnessing today? A New Patriotic Party that is able to sack media houses from their press conference, that says they will never attend to media platforms because they spoke against them. That is not the MPP that we sign on. And so, unless until some of these things are done, you cannot get me. And I can assure you that they will never do it. Because the people that are in the hand of affairs, they don't have self-confidence. They have no clue about the ideals and principles of the MPP. So they will never do it. And they will continue to sit where they are.
Thank you. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Mr. Solomon Owusu is a senior member of the Movement for Change this morning. Nancy is looking at me to say, is that not what I told you? Yes, Nancy said earlier this morning that everything that Bawumia said is about him, nobody else. That he cannot be saying that, the things we said, and be thinking that he's referring to Kennedy AGYEPONG. No, we are talking about Bawumia.